And another episode to be done by people far wiser than I is the effects of the Enlightenment and how, especially for us in the West, in modern day with technology and extreme skepticism, we discount these types of stories. We discount, missionaries who bring back tales of being surrounded by, people wishing to kill them, and then their camp goes unattacked for the night, and they interact with the tribespeople later, and they say, well, why didn't you attack? It's like, well, you guys were surrounded by a giant army. We couldn't do anything against it. We wanted to kill you. And like there was no army there. It was just us. And so you listen to these stories, and it should be extreme skepticism. This didn't happen. This didn't really happen. All these people throughout history are just ecstatic people who believe in the supernatural, cover story. We can't honestly believe this. But again, when you're then talking about string theory and 222 dimensions and the universe winking into existence,
multiverses and all this, it's amazing to me that you can say with a straight face, wow, you believe in angels, and something that pretty much every culture has acknowledged. That's ridiculous. Anyway, you were once a fish, and then you became a horse, and then you became a human. But some of the horses went into the ocean and they swam now, and they're called whales. I'm like, wait, how is that any less just pure hypothesis than the idea that there are other beings out there, such as angels, that we can't fully account for? Now, it's funny you say that, though, because Elise, who runs Mars and Missionaries, she always will read, my wife here, she'll always read the full autobiography of a person. And she struggles with, how much do I include that kind of thing? Because I don't want people to just kind of be like, okay, this show just takes any old crazy stuff in here and puts it in there. But at the same time, there are moments, I think I really think it was Darlene Rose, where she said Darlene Rose was basically going to be under attack by these people, but they didn't end up attacking her. And later on, she met with those guys. She knew they wanted to kill her. And she was kind of like, why didn't you guys attack us? You had us wide open. And they're like, what are you talking about? You had these big armed men outside your house all night long. Like, there was never a chance to even go in there. And she was like, there were no men in that house. We were by ourselves. We thought we were going to die. Now, what do you do? Do you include that story? And people go, oh, that can't happen. But it did happen. It is the only witnesses that were there say it happened. So what are we supposed to do? Believe only what the modern skeptics tell us to believe, when they themselves don't even, will turn around and start talking about Bigfoot or aliens almost just as fast, right? Like, it's almost the most atheistic people I know are almost always the most biggest alien believers I know too. So, okay, what is it we're allowed to actually believe in here?
Yes, exactly.
But anyway, no, it is a really important thing. And it's like you said, out in the field, when you interact, you will see and hear stuff like this. A long time ago, I heard a story about a guy who said he went to visit a witch doctor, and this witch doctor was just not having it, wasn't believing in anything he said. But then the next day, this witch doctor suddenly was way more open and friendly to him. And he was like, what happened? What changed? He said, well, last night I had a dream where I kept trying to summon the demonic spirits, but for some reason you kept showing up, and this is his word. So you bear with me. You kept peeing on all of the stuff I was doing and causing the demons not to show up in my dream. And I really was trying to get rid of you, but I couldn't get rid of you. And I realized I need to go find out about your God. What? Like, okay, that's a weird story, but it worked. The witch doctor came to Christ and everything was good. So, wait, what are you going to do? The guy had a weird dream the night before. Come on, man. Like, everything can be naturalistic. Sometimes God is just moving, and we need to embrace that those things are great and good. Which, by the way, that witch doctor story reminds me of my next story I have for you. If you're ready for a weird one. Well,
I was just going to say that, you came out with a Boniface shirt before. The symbol of the tree chopped down. I'm just saying you could use this one and use the peeing Calvin thing on.
There we go. I like it.
Yes.
Our number ones.
Yeah.
I was going to say the Boniface shirt is our number one selling shirt. By the way, it's still like, especially come wintertime, people will go looking for a sweater, and something about Boniface Logging Company, people immediately start buying it, which I love. But okay, so when this story is just weird, and I have not done the proper research on this. The story was given to me by Ben Garrett from the Haunted Cosmos, and he had this story originally, so it's not my story. So if there's anything wrong, I'm putting it all on that guy.
Totally.
No blame. But pass that blame away. But he told me there was a story in the ancient church, like way back when, and that there was this beautiful woman that everyone wanted to marry. She was a wealthy, aristocratic woman. She was a Christian. She said, I'm sorry, I'm not going to marry anybody unless I'm a Christian. And this guy really wanted to marry her, but he knew that she wouldn't marry him unless she was a Christian. So he went to like the local necromancer kind of whatever, pagan guy who was in
As you
town
do.
too. And
Yeah.
he said, hey, can you get this girl? I really want this girl. Is there anything we can do? And he goes, all right, no problem. You want a love potion? I can do a love potion. And he's like, is that a thing? He's like, it's not like a potion. I can do a love spell on her house tonight and then she'll love you by tomorrow. Okay, I got you. And all right, sure. Well, let's do that. If you can make her fall in love with me, that's all I want, really, right? So the guy goes, the witch doctor or whatever, not what do you call a Greek version of a witch doctor? The necromancer, sorcerer, I don't know, whatever. He goes to he goes to her house that night and does his witchcrafty stuff. And this, again, I'm telling you an ancient story. So the story goes that she woke up in the middle of the night and she had no idea any of the sorcery stuff was happening, but she was just having a very strong, like feverish dreams about this man that had asked to marry her. She said no to. And she just felt like she was being, having her heart tickled by him. And she just kept praying, God, I don't know what's going on. It's a weird night. Maybe it's the same bad burrito that those other people ate, right? But Lord, take this away from me. You told me I should only marry a Christian man. I said no to this guy. So I don't know where these feelings are coming from. And that this kind of battling went on all night long for her, where she just kept going back to God and saying, God, I don't know where this is coming from. Please take this away from me. Eventually, it finally kind of calms down. She goes to bed and goes to sleep. The next day, she kind of comes out of her house, la-di-da, didn't sleep well, whatever. And the sorcerer is there. And he's just like, I need to know about your God. And she's like, what are you talking about? She's like, he's like, I spent all night doing spells and trying to summon all my demons to go in there. And they would go in there for like a split second and I would see them run out. They wouldn't have any business there. What is it you have that I need to know about? Because nothing I did worked. Okay, is that story true? It's probably a bit fabulous, but we do actually know, historically speaking, that these people did exist. And I can't remember their names right off the top of my head, but there is historically that famous sorcerer did become a Christian. So, I don't know, right? It's a weird one, but it's one of those 1800-year-old stories. So of course it's going to be a little bit weird. It starts with a love spell. Of course it's going to be weird, right? But hey, it's a pretty cool story of the power of Christ over the supernatural world and what he can do against demons, if it's true. And it's definitely one of those stories that I put a giant if it's true. Now, some of those stories, when you have those if it's true kind of stories too, it's a story that's actually hiding a probably real story within it. So something like this probably occurred, even if it didn't occur exactly as the story does.